So welcome to another video on functions in Python. On last video we discussed how do we define the functions, what are arguments, what are parameters. We also discussed about how to define the function name, indentation and basic thing we discussed. So in today's video we will be seeing what are the types of function. So what are the types of functions, what are argument parameters in detail, and what are default parameter, positional parameter and keyword parameter. So what is the use of return? The main thing here is that use of return. Most of the people are confused in what is the difference between using print here and using return here. So we will be also discussing that, and we have also discussed in the last video why we need function, and in this video we will be discussing that in some depth. And another topic that we'll be touching today is the flow of execution. What is the flow of execution, types of variables, and some questions related to output based and error based questions. So first thing is, what are the types of functions? So function, what was the function? Function was a set of block of code that does a specific task. Okay, so to achieve our task we may use some built-in functions. So every time whenever we want to add two numbers, so this is a kind of easy task that we can write in one or two line of code. So imagine we want to do something, we want to write a code to achieve a certain task, but every time whenever we are writing code we will not write those 500 lines of code or 1000 lines of code again and again, because simply we have written those earlier, we can use them. So once we have written them, we can save them, and those saved functions in Python are known as built-in functions. Means to use a certain function, suppose you have given a list of numbers, say 1 2 5 6, and you have to print the maximum integer out of this list. So every time whenever you find a maximum number out of this list, you will not write a function like max. Here you will be passing this list in the parameter and the colon and the task, the perform the specific task here, and then you have to will call and then you will call the function. This is a lengthy task, so we will not do this. So whenever you once you have write the function to find the maximum number, you will save them on your Python. So those are known as built-in functions. So means whenever you want to find the maximum number out of a list, suppose we have given a list, so how we will do the find the maximum out of this? We will simply pass the max and the list. Hope you have got the answer, hope you have got the thing right. So now again and again you don't have to write the function, because this function is already written on your Python, the Python you have downloaded, it is there, present there. Okay, so some of the functions are bulky, means sometimes, see, Python is a very powerful programming language. You need to understand this. Python is very powerful programming language. In Python you can do many things, like including graphs. You can plot graphs, you can run any advanced algorithms, you can create websites, you can create apps, you can do certain many things. So every time you will not write those functions, so because those functions are literally complex, so you don't need every time to understand everything how those functions are working. Simply you will use modules. For example, in our syllabus we have database. In database we have a module name MySQL. MySQL is a database, so we have a module for this, mysql.connector.connect. So using this, we are using some functions that are built inside MySQL. Some functions that are inside MySQL, we will not write them again and again. We will simply use them by calling them. Suppose to connect, we were using cursor.connect, because it is already written there, we don't have to write it again. So that was inside a module. So the second type of function is function defined in module. So for example, take us an example of the database. In the chapter of database we have discussed about what are the modules. The mysql.connector.connect. So here this MySQL is a module, and inside it contains a huge number of functions that certainly do a lot of tasks. So now again and again you don't have to write the whole bunch of code. You will simply use one function out of here that you want to achieve or do the task. For example, let us take an example of to connect through a database. Make a bridge between Python and MySQL. We use a function called mysql.connector.connect. Here this connector is a class. It comes under object oriented programming. We call it. It is an advanced Python programming. It is not in our syllabus, so we need to keep our mind on functions. So this mysql.connector.connect, the function is making a bridge between those MySQL and function. So this mysql.connector.connect, this connect is a function defined in module. So this is another type of function. So here also simply what function is doing, it is making our task easy. It is reducing our coding time. It is reducing our coding time and debugging time. It is helping us to not repeat ourselves. It is breaking bigger code into smaller chunk, and it is making code easy to understand. It is allows to easily remember the purpose of those line of code. Suppose we have this huge library, huge module of library and modules are used interchangeably most of the times. So here we have the library of database. So here it does many things. So to remember what part of code does what, function help us. We name function so that they may be understood. We are naming these functions so we may remember what this function is doing whenever we have a large bunch of line of code. Okay, so then here it will be helping us to remember what line of code is doing what. So the last is user defined code. This is normally if we want to do certain task that is not done to a certain specific or customized specific task. You remember that specific task that is not done earlier. Not done earlier means it is a customized. If you want to make, suppose for example you want to make a Maggie. What you will do, you will not take the flour and cook and not create those noodles on your home. You will not create those noodles in your home. You will go to market and buy the packet of Maggie. That is a module. Inside that you will get Maggie masala and noodles. These are the functions. Then you will use them and create Maggie. Okay, so because it was a bigger problem bigger problem. So there was a solution for this bigger problem, so there was a solution for this build. Okay, so you don't have to build it again. But what if you want to do you want to create something that is not done, that is not can't be cooked by, means that that you need to specifically do by yourself. For example, you want to cook rice. You can't get the rice cooked out of your market. You don't have those rice cooked out of market. You have to take some rice, that take water, take and then heat it, and this is a whole specific task. Every time you need to do it by yourself. Okay, so you have to user will define it how you will cooking the rice. You can make out of it khichdi, you can make it out of any like dosa or anything, remember. So this is a user defined, whatever user want to do. It is a customized thing, and it is non-customizable thing, that one thing is done, you have to use that or create your own. So this creates your own function, and these are some pre-written code. So these were the types of function. So next comes the काम कर रहा हूँ कुछ, काम कर रहा हूँ, तुम जाओ, भागो, तुम जाओ, को मैं काम कर रहा हूँ कुछ, जाओ जाओ। जाना, हाँ पानी देना, मेरा एक है, भैया को एक, मैंने क्या दिया वो भी ऊपर दे दे। पानी दे दें गिलास ठंडा, ना ना बोलना मत है कुछ। बोलना मत मम्मी, अरे मैं कह रहा हूँ अभी हल्ला हल्ला मत करना, को मतलब बोलना मत। Okay, so now this was the function block. This was the code of a function, of simple function that add two number. So here the common doubt is, what is the difference between argument and parameter? This is a common question that is often asked. So now we will see what is the argument and what is the parameter. So argument is something that is sent during function call. So here this thing is function call. This is the function definition of function define. Here we define the function, here we give it a name, and we perform here this is a function body. So whenever we call the function, the variable that we pass here is called argument, and the variable and the variable that is used while defining the function. When we are defining the function, here we are defining the function, and the variable that we are using here, these are called parameters. These are two simple points between argument and parameter. This is the variable that is used while calling the function, and this is a variable used when defining the function. So the thing to remember here is, in argument it is user defined. It is defined by users. It can be changed. It is independent. It can be changed. And parameter is anything that will be passed in this argument will go inside this parameter, and from here it will come inside the body of the function. And here the task or the specific function and the specific instruction, the set of instruction that you have given will be executed. Set of instructions that we have given will be executed. So this argument is also known as actual parameter. And this may be a MCQ type or a one marker, that what are the actual parameters, and the option may be argument or parameter or something else. One more thing, that used to transfer the value from calling function to receiving function. Here we are calling function. This is the function call. The value will be transferred to receiving the function. Parameter receives the variable, argument passes the variable. Now next is the types of parameter. So the parameters are divided into three types. The another one is keyword parameter. Generally the differences are between default parameter, positional and positional parameter. If no value is passed, default value is assigned, which defining the function take place. So these are the types of parameters. So these are here. So parameter lies at the top, argument lies at the bottom. So what is the default parameter is? If nothing is given, then it will take the value that is defined while defining the function. And if the user define it, suppose I write here c equals 10, then it will take this 10, not this 40. This 40 will be ignored. The variable that is defined by the user will be given the preference. So this is a default parameter in which we are giving the value to the variable at the time of defining the function. These are the default parameter. The second type of the parameter is positional parameter. This is the most commonly used type of parameter, because whenever we don't give any value, these are the positional parameter. These are the most commonly used, because the keyword argument, let me move back. So the default parameter is something that we are giving it values. If I write here if b is equals to 40, if suppose I don't give here 6, if I only passes here 5, so it will be showing the error. But if I have given it b is equals to 40, now it will take the default value of b as 40. So a will be here 5 and this b will be here 40. So summing of them, it will give us 45. So these are the positional argument. this and this is the positional argument, this is the positional parameter. This is the normal type of function mostly used. They get value based solely on their position. Suppose this is the 10. First we are using A, then we are using B. So if suppose say, if in the this is the parameter, this is the argument. So here if I write A comma B comma C, and here I pass 10 comma 20 comma 30. So these are the positional argument, means first position, this is the first position, this is the first position of argument. So this first position of parameter will be taken by this first position of argument. This is the second position of the parameter, so it will be taken by the second position of the argument. This is the third position of parameter, so it will be taken as the third position of argument. So this is a position the position matters. Like if I am passing 10 first, so it will be taken by A. If I am okay, so what are the keyword argument is, wherever you write it will be giving you, you're defining that B is equals to 20. If I also write this, add it B is equals to 20, A is equals to 30, it is, even if A is defined, A is first, but the B I'm giving it I'm assigning it the value 20, so this B is given the 20, not A, because we are assigning them specifically. So hope you understand that this is the basic difference in positional position parameter, default parameter and keyword parameter. That the default parameter will be assigned while defining the function. Keyword argument will be assigned during the calling the function, while calling the function. And the positional argument is the basic, normal, widely used argument slash parameter. Now comes what are return. What is the return versus print in function? This is this confuses most of the time to the newly Python beginner. So some people write this function, this gives the output as 11, and also some write it like as def add A comma B, same like that, but here you will be seen as return A plus B. But in this question, but in this function, you can't simply call the function and expect that it will show you the output. Suppose if you will write in this add 5 comma, wait a second here it was not plus, here it was comma, sorry for that mistake. Yes, so here you will not expect this that it will give you the output as 11. It will just show you nothing. It will just show you nothing because you haven't asked it to print the value after adding them. You have just executed the task. You haven't told what is to be done with the output. So here you will need to write. So in this case, whenever you use a return, you will also have to tell it what you want to do with the output. Suppose I write here a plus b. Now while calling the function, you cannot just simply say add 5,6 because it will not show you any output. You have to say print add 5,6. Now it is returning the value a plus b here, and then you are printing it. So here extra, while call at the time of calling function, you have to write extra print, but whereas here at the time of defining the function, where in the body you have explicitly told that what you want to do with the output, you want to print it. So here it will automatically display you 11, but here you at the time of calling the function, you have to tell it what you want to do with the output of the function. So here you are telling it to print, then it will be showing. At the first, if you write only add, it will not give you any value. So this was the thing that you need to keep in mind. So this was the difference between return and print. So return is a statement used to invoke a function so that the past statement can be executed. It just execute the past argument. It will only just a second. Yeah, it will only a comma b print, so return a plus b. It will only execute this. It will not perform any task. If you want to do any task, then you have to specify it. Okay, so if return is without any expression, then none is returned. So you have to, at the time of calling the function, whenever you have used return, then you have to also tell that print add, not just simply add. Hope you have got this as well. So now comes flow of execution. So how the code is executed. Flow of execution refer to the order in which statements are executed. So for example, say I write here addition. I take here three variable a, b and c. So at first I say b, d, I make a new variable d, a plus b, and at c, and now the value again new variable d is equals to d plus c, and then I'm return d, and now I'm calling the function saying print addition a 1, 2, 4, and I'm writing here print hello. That's it. So how this whole bunch of code will be executed? This is known as flow of execution. So how this is executed? The first thing is the compilation. So this code is sent to be compiled. First this code will be compiled, means the program is converted into bytecode. Bytecode, you know that computer only understands binary numbers, or also known as 1 or 0. So how the computer will understand this program that is written in numbers and text and string? So how computer will understand? So first is the compilation, where the program is converted into bytecode, and the second is interpreter, where the computer interprets, where the machine interprets what is in the bytecode. So it converts the byte code into machine code, that is the binary code. The binary is 1 or 0, and then the task is performed. The task is performed like you have said here to perform a plus b. So here a plus b is positional argument. Remember, positional argument, 1 will be passed inside a, 2 will be passed inside b, and 4 will be passed inside c. So here the a plus 2 is 1 plus 2, a plus b here, so here is 1 plus 2, so it will be giving 3. Now the d is equals to 3, and so this is how the flow of execution works. So this is how the execution works. So the thing to remember here is Python follows top to bottom approach. Means first line will be executed first, second line will be executed after the execution of first line is completed. Means if at the first line you have written that print hello, and second line you have written print world, so here after the execution of first line, the second line will be executed. Means at the output you will see hello, then you will see world, because this was the first line, this was the second line. But in case of defining a function, suppose you have defined a function named add that adds to number, print a plus b, and now define first line, second line, and third line. Outside the function, this was a simple 2-line function. Function completed. This was the function. This is the body. This is the definition of the function, and until now we haven't called the function. Remember, we haven't called the function until now. So outside the function, I'm saying print hello. After saying print hello, now what I'm doing is, now I'm executing. Now I'm calling the function. I'm saying add 2, 5. So what will be the output? So you will say that the first line will be executed first, second will be executed at the second, third will be executed after the execution of second line. But no, in the case of function, the interpreter just see the function name and jumps and ignores the what's inside the function. It will just see the function name, this thing add. It will know that there is a function name as add, and it will ignore this whatever is written inside. It will jump outside the function. This is the outside of function, so it will be jump outside the function, and it will see print hello, and in the output you will see hello, and next this function is executed. Now comes the turn of another line. So here it is add 2, 5. Now your interpreter knows that there is a function named as add, so these two argument will be passed inside in this function, and your task will be executed, and you will see a plus b, that is 5 plus 2 equals to 7. Remember, see, even you have print a plus b at before hello, your hello is printing first because it is outside the function, outside of the function, and it is called, and the function is called after this line. Next thing is, what are the types of variable? There are two types of variable. What is a variable? First of all, variable is something that stores variable stores data. What you mean by data? Data here may be an integer, string, or float. Float is a decimal value, that is a decimal value. Okay, integer is a number, string is a text data. So variable stores data. So when you say a is equals to 15, here a is the variable. So these variables are of two type. One is global variable, which is declared in the top level. Top level, the meaning of the top level is, see, this is our Python environment. These are the lines: 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line, and execution starts from here, from the this, just after the, without any spacebar here. So here you write print hello. Here you write a is equals to b, and here you create a function def add a plus comma b is equal, like something like this, print a plus b. So the thing you are seeing, this, whenever you comes inside this function, it is local variable, local, and here the thing is global, because this will work for all, and this will be work for only for the function that is add. So if you write here so the global variable is declared in the top level. So I told you that the global is a is equals to 10, and the local variable will be inside the function def function name colon, and here any variable that is assigned is known as local variable. It may be also a statement if 1 equals 0, and whenever you are defining here a is equals to b, a is equals to b or a is equals to 1, that will be also a local variable, because this is inside this if statement. So if will only work for locally for if statement. If you use outside of this print a, you will be given error, because your Python don't know what is a. Only a is known inside this if. That's the local variable. So now for example, so the local variable is a local name declared in specific function body. Inside the function, I told you that the def function name inside this, it will be a full local, and if it is outside the function, it is global. Okay, hope you got that. So for example, here we are taken age equals to 10. It is outside the function or the parent directory, parent indentation. Without an indentation, it is the global variable. So here you have defined age equals to 10, so it is a global variable. It's a type of variable that is global because it is outside the function or any conditional statement. Conditional statement is if conditional statement. And next, here we are creating a function named details. Inside this details, we are passing name. This name we have to pass around at the time of calling the function. Next, we are assigning a variable class underscore is equals to 12 inside this function. Because we are creating this inside this function, this is called as local variable. So now we are printing name, this name, study in, this is string, this class underscore is a variable, local variable, this is a local variable, and it's a age is a string, again string, and this is the age, that was a global variable. See, global variable can be used inside the function, but local variable cannot be used outside the function. So when you will run the code and you will call the details, and you are passing here a name, that's Salman. This Salman will be go inside this name. This name will be replaced with this Salman. So the output will be Salman. This is the output. Your output will be Salman study in class underscore. This was the class underscore. It was the 12th. In 12th, aged. What is the age? It was global variable, that was 10. So this will be the output. So in next video we will be discussed what are output questions and error based question, and we'll also run these on a collaboratory.